Come on. We will win. Because we will hit all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. Because we are the best on the field. And we hit the field like all day light, all night light, on the blue light, offense light, defense light, his squad light, house call light, and it sound light, and it sound light, and it sound light.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official. It's official.
Combine season is upon us.
I'ma do this here forever.
EQ.
Forever.
Triune.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever. All you haters better be gone. This the day you've been waiting on.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2016, and I got an amazing show for you guys today. We're going to talk about literally everything in sports. College football, college basketball, the NFL, the NBA, and that's really about it. So not really everything, but a ton of news to talk about, and just a jam-packed show for you guys. We're having news as we speak. The New Orleans, just in case I forget, the New Orleans Saints have restructured the contract for their head coach, Sean Payton. He now gets a 5-year deal worth $45 million. They reworked his contract, and they're trying to work out Drew Brees' contract. So there's a little bit of news for you guys. We're doing things a little bit different. So I want to first, the intro you guys just heard is from Triune and EQ. Check out their song Forever. You buy it on iTunes. All links are in the description. No matter where you're listening, they're down there. Please go check it out and support those guys. They do an amazing job. They actually have a new song, Game Winner, that is really good. Basketball. It is an awesome song. So go check that out. But we're gonna do some things a little bit different here on the Short Sports Show. We are going to change it up. So now you can always listen to the full show just normal on Spreaker.com, on iHeartRadio, on iTunes, Stitcher Radio. You guys are going to be able to hear it just like you have been. But in case you've been watching the video version or wondering, oh, well, he was posting the whole show on YouTube. Well, I have a pretty solid computer, but I don't have the strongest, big time computer. So I can't really record a whole hour episode of HD video and then go and edit and render it all out, because it just takes about, the entire day. So we're going to just do on YouTube, there's going to be snippets of the show, the best of sort of thing. And I'm going to upload the videos throughout the week. So that way you guys, if you guys just want to check out a certain video, certain topic, it's up there. And a majority of those videos, they are all going to be discussion videos. I want to hear what you guys have to say. It gives me a way to, really interact with you guys on that specific topic, instead of going back and saying, okay, well, what exactly was it? Bam, it's right there. So not too breaking, not too crazy, but there we go. Also, throughout the show, at any point during this time, UPS is probably going to knock on my door. I ordered something for the show. It's going to help me out with this recording thing and whatnot. So don't worry about it. If I have to stop it, I come back. You guys won't even hear it. It's just be like that. So in case there's a cut, you guys know why. Anyways, let us get on with what we were going to talk about. First, we're going to talk about some college football news, and that is college football and basketball players whose names and likeliness appeared in EA's video games throughout 2003 and 2014. They're finally going to get their money after a $60 million settlement. Now, for me, I can care less about these 24,819 players that had a valid claim, and the average player is going to get about $1,600 in the settlement after lawyers take about 30% of the cut. Now, again, I could care less. I really could. They're getting their money. But what I'm worried about and what I'm wanting, what I want out of this, along with about 1 million other people, is EA Sports or somebody, it doesn't matter who it is, somebody make an EA or college basketball, football, hell, even baseball game. They used to have it. That's what I want. That's what I want back. Now, the number of validated claims was revealed when lawyers for the athletes who did not give permission for their identities to be used, but whose names and likeliness appeared in very extents of the game. They're just going to get all their stuff. So, basic question is, we need to do something. I know there's small little petitions out there that are saying, sign this and we can send it off to EA, 2K, somebody for this. I don't care. We have the power of social media. We get stupid things like Damn Daniel to get viral. Why can't we get this to be more viral? Why can't we get this passed out so, hey, somebody come make this game? We've talked about it before, what the different wish lists, the different possibilities these guys could do to create this game. You just have to pay the team, pay the school, create entirely fake rosters. You can have a 300-pound quarterback. I do not care. There are plenty dedicated people out here in this world that will create the right roster, just like there have been over the past several years. They have updated a roster each and every year. There are people right now that are creating a 2016-2017 roster for NCAA 14, a game that came out in 2013. There are people that are creating rosters so people can still play this game. That's incredible. From 3 years later, there are people still creating other rosters to update this game in some way so people can still play it. And we all have to thank Ed O'Bannon and Ryan Hart, who else? Sam Keller. They're going to get the most money. They're going to get an estimated $15,000 each for players that did nothing with their careers and have to blame somebody in order to get paid because they didn't fulfill their potential as an athlete and said, you know what? They used our names and likeliness. We should get paid. We should sue them. Ruin the fun out of it. So, Mr. O'Bannon, Mr. Keller, Mr. Hart, thank you. Thank you so very much for ruining millions of people's love for this game and everything. Just thank you for ruining it. So the lawsuit filed against EA and the NCAA resulted, of course, in the discontinuation of the college video game franchise. And we can only hope that somebody, EA Sports, 2K, I don't really know any other people out there, somebody comes and makes one. Let me know what you guys want. Do you guys want EA to make the game? Do you want somebody to make the game? What do you want in it? And what do you have to say to Mr. O'Bannon? What do you have to say to him? I don't have nothing nice to say. Moving on, we have University of Akron offensive tackle Scott Boyett accidentally shot his teammate, wide receiver Andrew Pratt, in the stomach on Saturday, believing he was a burglar trying to enter his apartment. Now, when I first saw this, of course, they took away thought he was a burglar and trying to enter the apartment. They took that out of the way. The title, they just said Akron player shoots teammate, something like that. I'm like, what is going on? Okay. They both said it was an honest mistake. Nothing's going to happen. No charges will be filed after both players again agreed that the shooting was an accident. Pratt is reportedly expected to recover from his injuries after being taken from the emergency room to Akron Children's Hospital. So everything will be A-okay for them. Leonard Fournette did not take part in Tuesday's spring practice session. He was held out of the drill as a precautionary measure as he's dealing with what is described as a minor soft tissue injury in an undisclosed location. Now, to really show you how small it is and how minor it is, nothing to be worried about. He's expected to be ready for tomorrow's practice on Thursday, ready to go and should not be limited. They're just saying, hey, let's take it easy. Might be just a minor little sprain, and he'll be ready to go. Because everybody, you watch those videos on YouTube, the hype videos of LSU and the big cat drills and stuff like that. People are expecting Leonard Fournette to go out there, dominate. Relax. He's going to be fine. Again, last year as a true sophomore, 1,900 yards, third in the country, and his 162.8 yards per game led the FBS, as well as 22 rushing touchdowns. He led the SEC and ranked fourth nationally in that. Another star running back in the SEC is Nick Chubb, and everybody's wondering how he's progressing and what his status is come fall. Now, of course, he is going to be out for spring. He's not going to participate in any spring practice drills. He's completely out. He's watching. But head coach Kirby Smart said on Tuesday, quote, "We're excited about where he is, and he's progressed really well." Smart also added that he couldn't say whether Chubb will be a participant in summer practice. The junior tailback status for the season opener against North Carolina still remains uncertain. Quote, "We're working tremendously hard. He is dead on schedule." Ron Corson, the athletic trainer, would probably say he's ahead of schedule. So still trying to figure out what's going to happen with both of these running backs. Leonard Fournette looks healthy and good to go, while Nick Chubb is being hopeful and optimistic that he will be good to go come fall, hopefully even summer. But I think they should just play it safe, honestly, with the caliber of player that Nick Chubb is and what he brings to this Georgia offense, especially not really having a quarterback. Set him out there in the summer. Let him make, maybe he could jog a little bit, do some running drills. Nothing contact until fall hits and maybe even mid to late fall. And when I say mid to late fall, a couple weeks into the fall semester before they get into North Carolina. And honestly, maybe even keep them limited on North Carolina. Who knows what their situation is going to be like? Because the last thing you need is put them in there too early, making contact, and anything can happen from there. Baltimore Ravens, we're moving on to the NFL. Baltimore Ravens cornerback Trey Walker. Obviously, this is happened over the weekend. Friday, he passed away one day after being critically injured in a dirt bike accident in Florida. He was only 23 years old, and this is obviously a sad situation, and prayers go out to his family and everyone affected. But this is a time to really think about when you're on a motorcycle or a dirt bike, whatever, wear a helmet. People think it doesn't make you look cool. Maybe this is a sign to say, hey, this is why you wear a helmet. And also you have your lights on and don't wear anything dark or, at night. I mean, or have at least your lights on, have something on. It's just a terrible situation, what happened to him. And how the Ravens are now affected with this. But they said the accident occurred about 7:50 p.m. on Thursday, and the police said that Walker's bike did not have headlights and he was wearing dark clothing. I mean, those are just terrible, terrible things to do when you're getting on a bike like that. What was even sadder about that was that he had dedicated his rookie season in 2015 to his father, who had died of a heart attack in 2014. Now, the family spread Walker's father's ashes off the coast of Miami one day after Walker was drafted, which was also his father's birthday. Now, Walker didn't get a whole lot of playing time, even with some of the injuries that happened to the defensive backs on the Ravens. He played only 8 snaps on defense as a rookie, making 1 tackle as a 4th-round draft pick. But they expected him to take a step forward this year, saying that he had a lot of raw talent and just trying to get him up to speed and working on some fundamentals, some of the technical things. So it sucks. Again, prayers off to his family, and just remember to wear a helmet no matter how you look, because in the end, it might save your life. So keep that out there. The New York Jets remain in a contract stalemate with free agent quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. But general manager Mike McGannon said Friday that he's willing to improve the team's current offer. Again, they're trying to find a middle ground. They're trying to find something to work out. And now they're like, okay, it's getting a little bit late. He's not really budging. What if we just increase it just a tad bit and just say, hey, look, this is really all we can do. We got other contracts to figure out because we are a team, not just a quarterback needing. We are a team needing. and let's see what we can do. He said, quote, "We like Ryan. We like to have Ryan back, but at the end of the day, it's free agency. You go through it at some point in time. Hopefully, we can find a middle ground we're both happy with." End quote. Now, the Jets, they've offered Fitzpatrick between $7 million and $8 million per year, which honestly is a really good deal compared, I understand that Brock Osweiler and some of these other quarterbacks that haven't won or haven't done anything have received really big deals. And that's honestly not because they're good or that's because of what the market is. It's because teams are just that stupid to pay for mediocre quarterbacks. And the Jets know that, one, they're not in position to pay any quarterback that much money. And two, they're not that stupid. They're getting smarter with this management. They're getting a little bit smarter. Now, Fitzpatrick is thought to be seeking twice that amount, twice the $7 million and $8 million. He's looking $14 to $16 million a year. You should be happy if you can get that a 2-year, $14 million deal. He's already 33 years old. 30 years old, 33, somewhere around that range. Just take what you got. Take what you got and help focus with this team. Stop making it about you. You've got money. Now, people shouldn't feel bad or say, hey, Fitzpatrick, he was one game away from the playoffs. He broke the records for the Jets quarterbacks. Look at who they've had with Brett Favre, and even though he was older at that time. You had Brett Favre, you had Joe Namath. Some of the other quarterbacks, look at the records he did in just 1 year with the team and the potential they could have this season and next. But the thing is, Fitzpatrick has already signed really good deals for him, but really bad deals for other teams. That's why the Jets don't really want to spend a big deal, because the last time he got a big deal, Buffalo, he did pretty bad. Eventually got cut or traded to the Texans. So why would the Jets want to do that? They're not really in financial, the area for that. We'll just have to see. Now, the Denver Broncos, they've reached out, and again, they're reportedly unwilling to exceed the Jets' offer, but it makes you think, okay, if Fitzpatrick comes back and says, all right, you guys aren't going to give me the 14 to 16 million, what if we go 10 to 12 and then try to play, with the Broncos and the Jets? Whoever gives you the biggest deal, you go with them. I don't know. Fitzpatrick, it's just, honestly, if I'm him, I re-sign with the Jets. You have the chemistry. You got Brandon Marshall, who seems like every time Brandon Marshall, whether he's on the Rich Eisen show, whether he's making an appearance on NFL Network, on ESPN, he's always talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's always talking about how he wants him back. He's always talking about how they're close friends. You have this chemistry. Even I wish I had the audio of it. I remember Marshall saying that what they had in just 1 year is rare. He didn't even have what he has with Fitzpatrick is something he didn't have with Jay Cutler. Now, those are on the line, along the lines of exactly what he said, not word for word, but it was. I'm not, mixing it up. That I remember hearing Brandon Marshall say that, and that's special. That's special. And you have Eric Decker, you have some other guys, you have some young guys. This is the time, re-sign and just take the money and help this team win. That's all it is. But we'll see. Another quarterback that's pretty lost right now is obviously Johnny Manziel. And I know we talk about him every show. There's just something with him every time. Now, this is what's pretty crazy. Now, last week, mid to late last week, we heard something about how teams are not interested in Johnny Manziel. They don't want to touch him. They didn't give any reason why other than, what we already know, that not the greatest quarterback and his off-the-field issues. They said, we're not going to touch him till something off the field he shows that he's willing to change. He's willing to do something about his future. Now he's now hired Drew Rosenhaus as his agent. That apparently has changed some things up. Now, what was I going to say? Now, Drew Rosenhaus that agreeing, teams have now said, okay, well, now we're going to wait and see what the NFL says. Wait until after the court decision and see what the NFL does. Because we all know Johnny Manziel is going to get suspended like 4 games at the very minimum. Could be up to even 10 games. That really is dramatic. Whether a team sign him, it's going to be dramatic which way they go. Whether it's 4 games, okay, maybe we can offer him this deal. If it's 10 games, do we really want to touch him? That type of thing. Now, his former agent, Eric Burkhardt, he dropped Manziel after the season. He said in a statement, quote, "It has become painfully obvious that Manziel's future rests solely on his own hands. His family and I have gone to great lengths to outline the steps we feel he must take in order to get his life, to get his life in order. Accountability is the foundation of any relationship, and without it, the function of my work is counterproductive, end quote. Drew Rosenhaus, he says, hey, you're perfect. You're a mess up. I want you. I'm signing with you. Now, again, we'll have to see with the potential crime charges here in Texas, with the domestic violence incident, what the NFL does with that. As we know, they've gotten strict, and Manziel has just been huge media poster child and has been just terrible off the field. And they might want to set an example. And honestly, if I'm the NFL, and what happens with Roger Goodell, see, there's so many things that are going to happen that makes Manziel's situation even worse. NFL is talking about stripping Goodell's powers away. We're going to talk about that here in a bit, with his, what he can do and what he can't do with off the field players, when they have issues off the field. That's going to reflect on Johnny Manziel after we find out his decision. But if I'm the NFL, I think we all come into a unanimous choice and just say, look, if Manziel's found whatever, I guess guilty, we need to make a statement here. The Greg Hardy thing obviously didn't work out. Yes, he stopped off the field, but people are just still questioning him. We need to make a statement for everybody, not only in the NFL, but down to college and down to high school, where some of these problems, that's what they start to originate in beginning relationships. Suspend Johnny Manziel for an entire year when he signs with a team. Not just, it starts when the 2016 season starts. You suspend him for the entire year once he signs with the team. So if he doesn't sign until week 13 of the season or week 8, whenever, that's when his entire 1 year starts. Then you really get something going and say, all right, any other player, you want to screw up, you want to get in a domestic violence incident, whatever it might be, get ready because you're going to get hit with a pretty stiff punishment. And this is where it starts. Johnny Manziel, big media, everybody talks about him. You know you're going to generate something every time with Johnny Manziel. This is what you do. You set an example. This is a perfect time to do it. I was a huge fan of Johnny Manziel. I wanted him to succeed. I'm not an A&M fan, but I love Johnny Manziel. I was a fanboy of Johnny Manziel. Multiple incidents. That's when you just got to hit reality, other than just looking at him as a football player. I hope the best. I hope he changes. I hope everything happens for the better for him and Miss Crawley. But this is a perfect time. If the NFL wants to set an example, you have to do it now, or whenever the charges happen. Bam. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up on Twitter at Short Sports Show, on the Facebook, The Short Sports Show, and wherever else I'm at. All links are in the description down below. You're listening to The Short Sports Show. Moving on, we got the former Redskins quarterback Robert Griffin III. Now, he visited the Cleveland Browns over the weekend, and it's looking more like he might be their guy. This is where you're really questioning the Browns. Now, RG3, he still has some talent. There's still some talent there. It's how to get his confidence, his ability to, understand the game and get that talent back out there, and whether he's healthy enough to get it back out there to his rookie potential that he had and onwards. But if they're not wanting to deal with media, which I don't feel like the Browns should do. I mean, obviously you're the Browns, and in the recent history you've had, media is going to be there. It just is. You're going to have a whole lot of people talking about the Browns more. It's just weird. They're going to have media like if they're successful, but they're just having media because they're not successful, and everybody wants to talk about how not successful they are. It's a weird thing. And you bring in Robert Griffin III, you bring another, and I don't mean this to be rude to Robert Griffin, because again, I am a fan of Robert Griffin, but you bring another circus back in. You're bringing another big media thing. Everybody wants to talk about RG3. How are you going to, this and that. I feel like the Browns need to just lay low. Be the team that kind of just sucks, like what the Lions kind of used to be, where they were bad and nobody just ever wanted to talk about them. The Browns, they can be bad and everybody wants to talk about the Browns. Browns need to take a chill pill on this one. And then I know I want someone to take a chance on RG3. Hopefully the Broncos do or somebody else. But if the Browns bring in RG3, spotlight's right back on the Browns, and it's going to continue to stay there until they actually succeed, or we might just give up on them completely. I don't know. I still don't see that happening. I think media is just going to be right on the Browns. It's not like Cleveland's a big market either. It's just how everything's worked out. Now, for RG3, he hasn't played a game since 2014, back in December of 28. I said in 28, like 1928. December 28th, 2014. And that was a 44-17 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. His high points came in the first 2 seasons when he threw for a combined 6,403 yards. He ran for 1,300, tossing 36 touchdowns to only 17 interceptions. You're thinking, man, this guy's truly got it. He's a real deal. Since then, he's only played in 9 of the past 32 games. That's bad. That is bad. And it's been a third-string quarterback, really, with everything that's happened. Now, again, the Denver Broncos head coach, Gary Kubiak, he acknowledged Thursday morning that they're going to take a long look, and that they have been taking a long look at RG3. They really want to know what this guy still has to offer. Speaking at the NFL owners meetings, Kubiak said the Broncos have evaluated Griffin and that the former Washington Redskins star continues to be a part of Denver's conversation for potential replacements to Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler. Quote, Griffin is one of the free guys out there. He's obviously been a part of the conversation. We'll see what happens. He's a talented young man, end quote. Now, Kubiak said he wouldn't discuss whether the Broncos would bring Griffin in for a visit, but he emphasized multiple times that Denver would be patient in filling out the quarterback depth chart. Now, again, they only have Mark Sanchez, who they traded for from the Eagles, and some 5th round, 7th round quarterback Trevor Sideman or something like that. Those are the only 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now. That's it. And also, Kubiak said about Mark Sanchez, though, he said, quote, one of the things we feel good about is how we feel, or excuse me, we feel really good about is we feel good about getting Mark. Very weird sentence. Mark's got 60 starts in this league. He started 2 AFC championship games. We feel really good about him and how he fits. He's got some background in what we do. So they're trying to say, hey, we feel confident in Mark Sanchez. I mean, I still like Mark Sanchez. I understand the criticism he gets. I understand the butt fumble thing and all the other stuff. Talent is still there. He has it. It's just how he puts it together. And he honestly looked pretty solid 2 years ago. It's kind of not really ish last year. We'll have to see. It's a brand new start from maybe that's all he needed. We'll see. Now, there's been reports that the Tennessee Titans are thinking about trading the number 1 pick. Now, we get this every year. Whoever has the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, they say they want to trade any of the top 5, top 7 teams. They're always looking to probably trade around to get a better deal, which is completely normal. But the Tennessee Titans and general manager John Robinson, they want a little bit special. They want a little bit of hot sauce on it. They said at the 104.5 The Zone Annual Sports Fest, the Titans general manager John Robinson addressed his feelings on the value of the number 1 pick, saying, quote, there's a group of players that are out at the top of the draft that you don't want to move back too far because you can miss out on one of those guys. And if you feel you do need to move back that far, you want to make sure that you have a king's ransom, for lack of a better term, to move that far. I would say that for us to move out of that pick, it's going to take a substantial amount of picks to do that, end quote. So you start thinking about the Tennessee Titans, where they're really at, and what they could do. Now, the offensive line was garbage last year, as we all know. And if they don't fix that pretty quickly here this year, they're going to have some problems. And Marcus Mariota might not be their quarterback or anybody's quarterback for that long because no one can take a beating that many years, that many times. Now, the King's ransom thing about getting a ton of picks, teams are now starting to be wary of, unless there's a guy that's going to change everything. and a guy that's going to do something very special for our team, we got to think about not only the future of this organization, the picks that we could get later this year, and what we'll have to give up next year. Because it's not only that year that you give up. You end up giving up, a next year first rounder, and also maybe a third, a fourth, somewhere around that range. Multiple picks in multiple years. So there's got to be a guy. Is there a guy this year in this draft that would trade with the Tennessee Titans, move anywhere, whether they're down at the bottom, whether it's like the Broncos at the last pick or wherever, that is willing to say, hey, if we give up this much, there's a guy that's going to change everything. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, Larry Tunsil, outright the best offensive lineman in this draft. He can do a lot. That's true, but is he worth a bulk of picks to make that trade? Jalen Ramsey, he's a dynamic defensive back, honestly, probably the best defensive player in this draft. Are you willing to give up a ton of picks for this year and next year to do that? Depending on where you're at, what team you are, it's going to range from yes, maybe we should do that to no, we shouldn't. For the Titans spot, I understand this. You got to think of it and say, look, sure, we love to get Jalen Ramsey, who would shore up this defense and clear at least one side of this defense. He could take, if you split it in fours or you split it in threes, no matter what coverage you're looking at, he is going to lock down that side, or at least make a play on that side in general. It's going to be that green zone where you're going to feel comfortable at. Larry Tunsil, put him at left tackle, and you got your guy that the Tennessee Titans need for Marcus Mariota. That's why they're saying, look, you're going to have to give us a ton of picks to move out of this. And they're taking the right approach. Every team's going to do this. The Chargers, the Browns most likely are not going to trade out, but you know what I mean. Maybe the Cowboys, they could think about it, say, well, we like Ezekiel Elliott, we like Joey Bosa, we like Miles Jack, but if we can get a lot of other guys for this and miss out on this one player, because some other guys are going to be gone, sure, we'll take it. And again, maybe get in a quarterback like Dak Prescott later in the draft to ensure him maybe a third rounder, and you get a pick. If I'm the Titans, there's no way I trade out unless you get that entire bulk of trade or picks, because the Titans need to get that offensive line, need to protect Marcus Mariota, and get Larry Tunsil or someone along those lines. Let me know what you guys believe, whether you're a Tennessee Titans fan or just overall a fan in general. Do you believe the Titans should trade out? What would it take if your team was number one in the draft or anywhere in the top 5? What would it take for you to say, if you're the general manager, to trade out of that spot if there's someone you like Larry Tunsil, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Bosa, Ezekiel Elliott? What would it take for you to leave a top 5 spot to get those bulk of picks? Let me know in the draft. Let me know in the comment section down below. Follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show, and let me know down below. Moving on, the Cleveland Browns announced that cornerback Joe Hayden underwent ankle surgery this week. Are you kidding me? This late? The team said in a release that Hayden should be ready for the start of 2016 season. Now, he went on Wednesday to go get ankle surgery. Why these players wait so long to have surgery is beyond me. It's mind-blowing. Why wait so late? Now, for an average person, it's money, it's scheduling, all sorts of things. When you're an NFL player, it's like that whenever you want to get it, when you need to get surgery, whatever. The injury occurred, this is how late it is, in week 8 against the Arizona Cardinals last season. In week 8, just nearly halfway through the season, depending on what you look at it, halfway through the season last year, it's when the injury occurred. Now, he didn't go on IR, until December 14th when he had a concussion against Arizona. I don't think he could play Arizona twice. He had a concussion on December 14th, whoever they played then. It's crazy to think that you waited 3.5, 4 months to get surgery when you're already out for the year. that hurts him. And it's another typical Browns player to do. It's the management to say, look, you should have probably got the surgery a lot sooner. And then it happened. Now, the depth chart, this is where it takes a hit because obviously they've already lost Pro Bowl safety Deshaun Gibson. The defense wasn't that great at all last year. Joe Hayden, their star player on defense. They have Tramon Williams, the other starter. Solid, but he's going to need some help. Pierre Desir started 6 games last year. Has a ton of upside, but can he reach that potential? Yeah, Charles Gain, who started 4, and Justin Gilbert, who only started 1. And Gilbert has been probably one of the biggest busts at the defensive backs position in NFL history, taken 8th overall and has been absolutely garbage since entering the league. Either he's been toast or he's been trash on the bench. Now, Hayden is expected to resume football activity sometime during training camp, which is a lot sooner than I would have thought, with the expectation that he will be ready by week 1 of the upcoming season. He turns 27 next month. And he's had numerous injuries last year. He had a concussion, a rib, finger, and obviously the ankle. I don't know. I think it's very, very stupid that the Browns did not advise him to get the surgery a lot sooner. And of course, you could say, well, maybe he didn't know. If the ankle was bothering him basically from week 8 onwards, you got to think it's somewhat serious, especially after he was already on IR and is saying, hey, my ankle's still hurting. That's not just a bruise or a high ankle sprain. High ankle sprain doesn't take 6 months to heal. That's ridiculous. Good job, Browns. Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman said he never had a problem voicing his own opinion. Or, of course, he's never had. I don't know why he said never. During an interview with SportsCenter on ESPN, Jim Trotter on Sunday, he took aim at Roger Goodell. Had a pretty interesting little thing to say. Now, back in February, Goodell recommended a rule that would result in ejections for players who've committed 2 personal fouls during the course of a game, and Richard Sherman ripped the idea of the proposal. This is what he said.
At the Super Bowl, Goodell suggested that the league should consider ejecting players who get 2 personal fouls in a game. As a player, your thoughts on that?
I think it's foolish, but I mean, it sounds like somebody who's never played the game would say, something that they would suggest, because he doesn't understand. You know, he's just a face. He's just a suit. You know, he's never stepped foot on the field and understood how you can get a personal foul.
Now, Sherman was recently elected to NFLPA Executive Committee and has previously served as a Seahawks union representative. Had a few choice of words that I think, for me, obviously he's talking about, for a guy that's never played football, I played some type of football before, and I'm not just talking about Madden. So, guess you could kind of understand, but obviously to play high competitive Richard Sherman has, no, of course not. I'm not just talking about the NFL or college, high school level. It's kind of true. No one really likes Goodell, so I'm just going to agree with Sherman here either way. But it's, I don't know. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how everything shapes up with Roger Goodell, what the NFLPA decides to do with his power for off-the-field issues that we're talking about earlier, and what's all going to happen here I don't know. Oh, man, did they say? I don't know if it's going to be this week or sometime soon. I know it's sometime soon. We're going to find out with Roger Goodell and what his powers are. But I honestly see his time coming to an end very, very quickly with the NFL, which is really, really good news. Again, I could go on and on about why he should not make $42 million a year and this and that. So many issues with Roger Goodell, and hopefully it's all coming to an end very, very soon. Some other quick news. The former Washington Redskins running back Alfred Morris, he signed a 2-year deal with NFC East rival Dallas Cowboys. Yes, he did. 27-year-old Alfred Morris rushed for a franchise record 1,600 yards back in 2012, but since then, his production has dropped over the past 2 seasons. In his first 3 years combined, Morris rushed for more yards with 3,962 than any back in the NFL except for Seattle Seahawks Marshawn Lynch. This past season, Morris finished with 806 overall yards, Yards overall. But whoa, the Sexic flipped it. And 1 touchdown. He averaged a career lows in yards per carry with 3.7 and yards after contact with 1.45. Now, Morris, crazy thing about him is he's had the most carries in the NFL over the last 4 seasons with 1,078. So while he was, one of the best running backs out there to get in free agency, he's also the most banged up. And he's already 27 years old and only been in the league for 4 years. He came out pretty late. And the crazy thing is he's only 1 year, I believe, younger, or 1.5 year and a half younger than Darren McFadden. Now, if you remember McFadden, did he get drafted back in like 07, 08, maybe 09 at the very latest? And Morris has only been in the league for 4 years and is only a year younger than Darren McFadden. So many mind blowns today. It's crazy. Kansas City Chiefs linebacker Justin Houston surprised everybody with having ACL surgery back in February, putting his availability for 2016 season in doubt. Now, the trainer, he said that the normal rehab period for procedure is between 6 to 12 months. Well, that's just a little bit too soon for the NFL season, and that's why it's in doubt. Head coach Andy Reid said, "We're hoping just because of his work ethic and that he's a fast healer in the past, that's not the case, that he'll be out 6 to 12 months. And that'll play this season. It's too early to be able to tell that." Now, Houston, back in 2014, he set the record 22 sacks. Got a big deal. And then last season, had a knee injury, caused him to miss the regular season's final 5 games. Came back and played both playoff games. Obviously, the ACL was an issue. Now, they went to go see one of the best doctors out there, and James Andrews, after the season for the knee injury. This is what they said, quote, "When Dr. Andrews looked inside the knee, he determined the ACL was intact. It just wasn't functioning. He didn't do anything at that moment, brought him out of surgery. We all got on the phone, discussed everything, decided to have his ACL fixed." Again, just a little bit too late. Just a little bit too late. Not really. We were just talking about, who would you say? I already forgot his name. Joe Hayden, about his late surgery. Now, Joe Hayden, that's a different deal. Browns, they weren't in the playoffs. They didn't exit out. They got out pretty soon. Chiefs, on the other hand, they played 2 playoff games. Houston also came back for those games and played them. And so the surgery happened February 16th. So just a little over a month now. So you kind of see, all right, sucks, but it just happened at the wrong time. Whether he plays, I'm not going to put my money on it. He might be able to play postseason, maybe end of the season, week 13, 14, somewhere around that line. But I'm not going to bet that he's going to be there week 1. And if he is, be very cautious of where he's at. Very, very cautious. Now, we have a pretty fun topic to talk about right now, and that's New York Giants owner John Mara said Sunday that the long-term effect of concussions on player and the link between football and the brain disease known as CTE represents the most serious issues confronting NFL owners at the league meetings, end quote. And I don't know, I don't think anything else comes close, end quote. So, as people are already looking at the screen here on YouTube and by the title, so how can teams help reduce that? Now, Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys owner, he said that's absurd that there's a link. Not really. It's pretty damn not absurd. It's just, it is what it is. So how can teams, again, help reduce taking away or, reducing the concussions and multiple big injuries? Well, it's long been assumed that the NFL one day will take away kickoffs. They've slowly been doing it. There's already a proposal that owners will approve that to move the touchback to the 25-yard line for 2016. The vote is expected here this week. And then we also, which it might already happen actually, but we've seen how they moved the kickoff where the ball is actually kicked to the 35-yard line. They moved it up so that way it increased more touchbacks and less risk. So what is the point of a kickoff? let's go through a little bit of stats here. And before people go crazy and say, oh, you're trying to mess up the game, you're just one of them. Look, I understand. I don't want to take away anything from the game, but we also got to, keep it a little bit safer so that way we can still watch real football. Look, I'm not a fan of the big, the flags on the defensive hits and, how are defensive players supposed to tackle. They don't want them going up high because they're worried about the neck and the head. But you can't go too low because you don't want to take out someone's legs. You don't want to say, hey, I didn't give you a concussion, but you can no longer walk for the rest of your life because something with your leg, multiple leg hits. That's not something. Everybody wants to be able to, when they get older, to be able to throw and play catch with their son or daughter, or be able to run around, be able to push them on the swing set, whatever it is, standing up, and also with a clear head. That's common sense. So what are ways the NFL can take away some of these things and help reduce the fact? They can't take away the brain disease CTE, and they can't, end concussions, but it can help. So here are a few stats. Stick with me. I already see the comment section just saying a whole lot of no, they shouldn't take away kickoffs, but stay with me here. Injuries on kickoff returns rose last season. The competition committee co-chairman and Atlanta Falcons president Rich McKay confirmed through the precise nature and number of those injuries, though the precise nature and the number of those injuries were not available. Committee member Mark Murphy, who is also the Green Bay Packers president and CEO, said, quote, when we look at the film and we look at particularly the concussions that were sustained, the kickoff just stands out. It's a very dangerous play. We've been successful, I think, with some of the changes increasing the number of touchbacks, but moving it to the 25-yard line should help us have even fewer returns. Less teams, why take the risk? You're going to have to average basically 26 yards per return to make it successful for you returning that ball. And while that might not seem a lot, there was only one player who had over 30 yards, and only, I think, does it have it? I didn't keep it on here. And only less than a handful had over 24 yards, 20.4 something. Something that doesn't even matter. 20.4 something. So there, you just risked a potential turnover. You risked not only yourself, but someone tackling you or someone on the other side of the field getting hurt. Because, and you didn't do it because you didn't even get to the 25. And if you got to the 25, was it worth it? Now, again, people say, you're taking out the exciting play because of the kickoff returns, the punt returns. But from a safety standpoint, it's a huge concern. Quote, we understand that it's a part of we understand that it's been a historical part of the game. And nobody wants to mess with the history part of the game unless it needs to be. It's one we continue to look at. We looked at all the injury data this year from it. We looked at all the plays. We still like the play, and we think we still need to keep working at it. Now, again, before you start going crazy, here are some of the stats that might potentially change your mind or at least make you think of different ways and how the kickoff can be changed or be taken away from. The percentage of return kickoffs have dropped from 80.1% to 41.1%, basically half have been taken away, while touchbacks have jumped from 16.4% of all kickoffs to 56% in 2015. And last season, the NFL had 390 more touchbacks than kickoff returns alone. That's something right there. That should just say, all right, nobody's even returning anyways. All you are getting right now, for the people that say we should keep kickoffs, all you're getting is a whole bunch more commercials. That's it. Because we already see it. After the team scores, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, they take a commercial break, they come back for the kickoff, then we get another 5-6 commercials. How about after they do the field goal, after they get a touchdown, you get your commercial, boom, team starts at the 20, 25-yard line, and we're good to go. And I know what you're saying, well, it takes away some of the players like Devin Hester we would have never had if the kickoffs weren't there. It's true. Devin Hester wasn't exactly a Hall of Fame receiver. Actually, he wasn't at all. And wasn't the best receiver. Just probably an average receiver. Sorry, no offense. But he was a Hall of Fame kick returner. And taking that away, you take away another player that might beat Devin Hester's records that could be out there right now in the league, or could be 5 years old right now that could break it when he gets older. It is true, and it sucks, but if half the percent in 1 year has already dropped, and we've had 390 more touchbacks than just somebody returning one, is it really worth even having it? Is it really worth? Because all a player does, especially once this proposal gets approved to the 25-yard line, that means you have to at least return it to the 25. If you get to the 20, people are going to be like, why didn't you just kneel it? Why didn't you just let it out? We would have got 5 more yards. And I know you think, well, it's just 5. Again, if every inch counts, every yard counts in this game. So that's what I think. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you believe kickoffs should still be in football as well as punts? We can just throw that in there because that's another safety thing that we should talk about. The player's head is looking all the way up, not even looking at the field until the last second, and sometimes pow. I know it's fun to watch the big kids highlights on YouTube and commenting on there, what the NFL used to be like and all this other nonsense. I understand. I love watching the big hits. But as someone who likes watching football, as someone who's watched it, as someone who has played it, someone who wants their kids to play it, safer it is, the better it is. Understand the risks that go into it. You understand when you're driving the risk that goes into driving as well, but you still drive. Football, you understand there's going to be a big hit. You're most likely going to get hit or a big hit happen to you. I understand, but I'm just saying if we can make it a little bit safer and take something else, take away commercials a little bit, and also take away something that all we're watching is the ball getting kicked in the air and off to the end zone, and no one's doing anything, and then we get a commercial. Trust me, I would love to take that away. But I understand, what if your team needs it and has to return a kickoff all the way, and you don't want to risk your team going out there at the 25-yard line, only 3 seconds left, and they got to bomb it. On the kickoff, anything can happen. I understand. It's just different ways. What are ways we can fix it? What are ways? That's why they say, that's why McKay said, quote, and I think we still need to keep working at it. It's just something we got to keep working at. Make the game a little bit safer for everybody and see what we can do. But let me know in the comment section down below. And people on the show, we're going to continue here. We're going to continue on to the NBA. And that's where we have LeBron James. And now, of course, I know, why do we even care? But we're going to talk about it anyways, right? Following a home win over the Denver Nuggets on Monday, in which LeBron James put up his second triple-double of the season, he didn't want to talk about social media. He didn't want to talk about what he did. When asked whether he unfollowed the Cavaliers' official Twitter and Instagram pages, this is what he said.
LeBron, you may not like this one, and I'm not thrilled asking it. I'm obviously trying to diffuse this a little bit, but it appears that you unfollowed the Cavs on Twitter today, and it's caused quite a stir. Why did you do that, or what would go into that?
Next question.
You've had 38 assists tonight. That's a season high. Is this something you can take forward to the next game?
I'm done.
All right, thanks, guys.
Now, according to a source familiar with James' thinking, James unfollowed multiple accounts across Instagram and Twitter to preemptively begin preparing for the annual social media blackout that he takes every postseason. Last season, James' last Instagram post came on the eve of the Cavaliers' playoff opener. But it makes you think, if you look at his Twitter, he only follows 150, 130, 40 some odd people. If he's so serious about blacking out his social media, why doesn't he just, and trust me, he can afford another phone, why doesn't he just delete the app maybe? It saves your login, unless you log out, it saves it. Or just use another phone that doesn't have any of those apps. It just has the people that you want to talk to. Why create a stir? Because you know it's going to happen. You know how much media is on you. You know all this other stuff. Why do it? Why do it? It makes you really think that if he did it for attention. Because why else would you unfollow your team's official Twitter, official Instagram pages, and, carry on like nothing's going to happen. Because if you think about it, again, he did it on purpose. It's not like you accidentally unfollowed somebody. On Instagram, maybe, because it just click and then you're good. On Twitter, you press unfollow, and it says, "Are you sure?" And you guys say, "Yeah." It's not like he did it accidentally. And then he doesn't want to answer and say, next question. And I understand it might be a stupid question. What does it matter? He just had a triple-double. Why are we not paying attention to that? It's a great deal. It really is. And that's why the next question is even more important, because then he gets offended because the guy's talking about how he's going to translate it to the next game or to the playoffs. He said something along those lines, and all he says is, I don't know. And I'm done. Why are you upset? Why are you upset? And it just seems like everything about the Cavaliers has just been off the court. That's all the problems are. On the court, playing solid. Some guys, whatever. But it just seems like LeBron James is that person who says they don't like drama, says they don't like any off-the-court attention from that's something that's negative or can be perceived as negative. But he does something to get that attention and then says, "Next question, you guys are immature," and just kind of blows it off and just runs away. And it's like, you asked for this. You did this. All you could have done, look, I can get on my phone right now and I say, okay, well, Twitter or this guy, he doesn't even, and especially there's one guy right now who I get the notifications and he starts posting stupid stuff now. He used to put cool stuff and now it's no. I could just unfollow him right now. Or, okay, that actually didn't make my point. What I was trying to say was I could just delete the app. If I'm a player and I just want to focus, if I'm whatever, and I got a big NCAA tournament, for example, I want social media. I don't want to see what ESPN's writing about us, saying that we're underdogs, that we can't beat that team or this team. We shouldn't be here. We should have lost in this round or that round. All right, delete the app. Close my phone. I can still use my phone for later. I can still have people message me on social media or anything. Or what if I don't want social media? Guess what? Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, delete. People who are important have my number. People that don't have my number, well, whatever. That's it. That's how all of this could have been avoided. But no, he's got to say, well, I'm going to go on an annual social media blackout, but I'm not going to delete the app off my phone. I'm not going to use another phone because he's got money if he wanted another phone. I'm going to unfollow some people, just certain people. What's it take? And it's not like the Cavaliers are going to blow up his page or anything. I mean, it's not like they're going to post something negative about LeBron James. Not, ESPN or some of the analysts or even some of the players that he follows are probably going to say something worse or will have more chance of saying something worse than the Cavaliers' official Twitter and Instagram pages. That easy. I don't know. It's just weird. Then we have the Houston Rockets on Monday. They received an official warning from the league office regarding Dwight Howard's use of sitckum in a recent game against the Atlanta Hawks. As you guys are seeing the footage right now on YouTube, sources Monday said they will that the extent of the punishment, that will be the extent of the punishment. Just an official warning. That's it. That's all it is. The NBA notified 30 teams, all of its 30 teams, Monday via league that the Rockets were issued a formal warning because the team use of an adhesive substance on a player's hands during a game, according to NBA rules, use of any adhesive substance is strictly prohibited. And during games means time period from 90 minutes before tip-off through the final buzzer. And now Dwight Howard, he said, actually we'll get to that in just a moment. Now the officials working on Atlanta's 109-97 victory over Houston on Saturday removed the game ball because Howard applied stickum spray to his hands from a can covered in white tape while he re-entered the game in the first quarter. After Hawks forward Paul Millsap had made the first of the 2 free throws. Howard checked the ball back in, grabbed the ball from the official, and when Millsap got the ball back, he immediately questioned what was on it. He said, quote, this is what he told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, "I've never felt the ball like that ever. It was sticky. It was like super glue or something was on there. I couldn't get off my hands. It was the weirdest thing ever." Now, referee crew chief Monty McCutcheon investigated before going to each bench and issuing a warning. According to the Journal-Constitution, McCutcheon told each team that sitckum is illegal in the NBA. The newspaper also reported that Rockets coach J.B. Bickerstaff slid in front of the can, which was at the scorer's table, in an attempt to hide it before McCutcheon's approach Houston bench. And actually, real quick, the touchback in the NFL will now be brought up to the 25-yard line like we were talking about earlier. It just got passed, so there you go. Should kickoffs be in the game? Let me know. Now, Howard, he was just 2 from, and this is what's weird. Why in basketball are you putting stickum on your hands? Now you get it. Oh, well, you go up for a rebound, and when you come down with it, it's a rebound, like whatever the stupid Baylor player said. Yeah, I get it, but in basketball, you also have to shoot the ball. You don't just catch. Like, a receiver, it makes sense because all he's going to do is catch and block, majority of catching, and so he wants to hold on to that ball, and that's why he's going to put stickum. In basketball, you're not just rebounding, and that's it. You got to pass it. You got to shoot it. We all know basketball. So he puts it on his hands. It makes no sense. And he shot 2 from 7 from the field. Obviously, why? Finished with 8 points, but 17 rebounds. Now, it doesn't really make a difference in did the stickum help him get rebounds? Who really knows? Now, he said that he's been using it for the past 5 years. Quote, "I don't know why people are making a big deal out of it. I do it every game. It's not a big deal. I ain't tripping." End quote. So it makes you think, now this is very, very close to what the Patriots did. They deflated a ball. Now I'm thinking, well, deflating and putting stickum on your hands, that's 2 different things. Ching, true. But you are altering the playing field for yourself and for your team. Deflating the ball was to get a better grip of the football. Putting stickum on your hand is to get a better grip on the basketball. Wow, 2 different things that result in the same thing. Both are cheating. Both are illegal, clearly. Yet nothing happens to Dwight Howard. Now, I'm not a Patriots fan, Chargers, as you see. And I'm not a huge Tom Brady fan. I like Tom Brady. I respect Tom Brady, but I'm not like a Brady lover. Thing is, and I know they're 2 different sports, but so what I'm getting at is if Dwight Howard says, "I ain't tripping, it's not a big deal, I've been doing it for the past 5 years." Had Tom Brady said that, none of this would have gone to the courts. He wouldn't have been suspended for the first, or had the whole appeal suspension. They would have never been docked with draft picks. They would have never lost money if Tom Brady just said, "Yeah, I deflated the footballs," or had someone deflate it. "I ain't tripping though." That's it. That's all he had to do, and he would avoid all of this because that's what Dwight Howard did, and all they're getting is a warning. The NBA, and be honest here, none of that would have happened for Brady. Probably, who knows if it would have been worse or not if he just admitted it. But in all seriousness, this is ridiculous that the NBA is just letting Dwight Howard get away with this with just a warning. Are you so? Any other player that uses stickum, hey, well, he got a warning. I'm just gonna get a warning. I could cheat for a little bit. You got a warning. How are you gonna tell me is I get a warning? That's it. Cool. I'll cheat. Whatever. It's all good. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. I'm not a hater of the Rockets. I'm not a hater of Dwight Howard. It's just, you cheated. You cheated or have been cheating. Got caught with it. And even if you look at the stupid coach's face who's just like, "Oh, what is this? Oh, this looks like, oh, this is cool. Here you go. Hide it. Are you serious? For real? And a warning? Come on, man. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Anthony Davis will miss the remainder of the season. New Orleans Pelicans coach Alvin Gentry said on Sunday he has a torn labrum in the shoulder and a left knee injury and will undergo procedures to correct both. He's only played 61 games this season, being voted one of the 3 in this season all NBA teams. And he can earn an estimated $24 million extra from the maximum extension he signed with the Pelicans this past offseason. That's now in jeopardy. He might not get the $24 million because of this. Now, the Pelicans, they've just been sidelined with injuries. Just everybody's been hurt. Davis is the 4th opening day starter that's been sidelined for the rest of the season. You got Quincy Pondexter, Tyreek Evans, Eric Gordon, Bryce DeJane-Jones. They've all been shut down. Ryan Anderson, he's going to miss the 3rd game of the season with the groin strain. Norris Cole, he's going to miss a 7th straight game, or has missed it. That was on Sunday. It's just not been good for the Pelicans so far. Davis finishes the season though with 24.3 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, averaging those. Not bad for him. Also, the 2018 NBA All-Star Game will be held in Los Angeles with the Staples Center hosting the event for the 3rd time. The League of City officials announced at the arena on Tuesday. It marks the 6th time LA has hosted an All-Star Game, most for any city. In 2017, though, the NBA All-Star will be held in Charlotte, so that should be pretty fun. Some sad news, though. Turner Sports reporter Craig Sager, who has been battling leukemia for the past 2 years, said in an interview with HBO's Real Sports that doctors have told him in person that his condition would normally have 3 to 6 months to live. It came back. Leukemia is no longer in remission anymore, and that he apparently has 3 to 6 months to live, but the time frame can vary greatly. Sager, who's obviously best known on the sideline reporter with the colorful suits and his talks with great coaches like Popovich of the Spurs and how they interact with each other. He said this quote: "Somebody may only have a week. Somebody, it could be 5 years. You could be the person with 5 years. Well, whatever it takes, let's get doing it. I'm not going to be that 3 to 6 months. I'm going to be that 5 years. I think we're going to make medical history." And I truly hope so. I truly hope so. Greg Sager, it's one of those people that, obviously you don't wish anybody to have it. But Craig Sager's not the guy to have this, man. It really isn't. He's always been fun to watch. I've never been a person that wanted to be a sideline reporter, but if I did, or if it came down to it where that was going to be my job, he's someone to watch. He's someone to really take notes on who he is, and it sucks to have a great person like him have this sort of disease. And man, I hope he does make medical history and he beats it. It comes back. Anything can happen. Just keeping faith, and hopefully something good happens for Greg Sager because we need him. We need him as basketball fans and overall. More money was bet on Michigan State to win the NCAA tournament than any other team in multiple sports books. And that money's staying in-house. Ladies and gentlemen, my bracket is busted. It's gone. It's gone. Say goodbye-bye. Actually, I'll check it out real quick, what my bracket is. But yeah, it's gone. I had Michigan State winning it all, folks. I had them winning it all completely, the whole freaking thing. And they just lost to a Middle Tennessee State team, which no disrespect to them, but they were a 16.5-point underdog. And I lost. The Spartans lost 90-81 on Friday in St. Louis. It's terrible. Now, William Hill's Nevada Sportsbook took 78 money line bets on Middle Tennessee State. The largest, a $265 wager that netted $5,300. So if you bet $265, you got $5,300, which that's crazy for anybody to really make that or to pick that. Let's see my bracket. I'm trying to pull it up here. I'm trying to see how much if I'm still alive. My Final Four was North Carolina. What? Apparently I had Xavier in this one. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I really put Xavier in. That's what I have on here. Wait. Which one's the Final Four? My goodness. Where is it? No, because I have Michigan State. Okay. Never mind. It was UNC, Michigan State, Kansas, and Oklahoma. So actually, I'm not completely out of it. At least at work, I'm not, because I have North Carolina, Kansas, and Oklahoma. I have 3 teams still in it. But I have Michigan State winning it all. The Spartans, of course, they were the most popular bet to win the NCAA tournament at the Westgate Sports Superbook in both money and a number of tickets after the bracket was released. Michigan State, the number 2 seed in the East region, was a tournament favorite or co-favorite at most sports books with odds around 9-2. Middle Tennessee State could be found as long as 2,000 to 1 to win it all. The Westgate took one $5 bet on the Blue Raiders to win it all. So that's, imagine. Oh, wait, did they already lose? It don't matter. I think they already lost. I'm over here thinking. I don't even know. You have it on the bottom ticker that I just added. Middle Tennessee State, yeah, they're out. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. That's why the show's over. But anyways, it's been crazy. We got tomorrow. It starts again with the Sweet 16, and we got the Elite 8. It's going to be fun to watch. It really is. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you're brand new to the show, be sure to subscribe, rate it on iTunes, give it a rating, and share it with your friends and family. It's been huge support. Each show, slowly but surely, we've been growing. It's awesome to watch, see it growing on YouTube, on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker. We are everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for the support. As always, God first, God bless, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. And also follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show, as we've been getting some news about some of the things I've been passing with the NFL, some of the new rules. Automatic ejection, they did that. They passed that. The 25-yard line touchback, that's been passed. At least for one season on a 1-year trial basis. They're going to see how that goes. The LA Rams are going to be on Hard Knocks. Let's see. Former Browns linebacker Craig Robertson, he has signed with the New Orleans Saints, and I think that's about it. The Jets have also restructured James Carpenter contract as well, and that's it. So thank you guys so much. As always, I will see you guys Wednesday. God first, God bless. I'm out. Peace.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
I done came way too far for me to stop it now. I done worked way too hard just to drop it now. We came